In the previous episode in this series, I talked about Silence of the Lambs, which was only the third film to sweep the 5 major Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Actress. Today, we will look at the second film to gain that distinction, Milos Forman's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Dance off, bro!
You're gonna need a bigger approach.
I'm gonna make him an offer, Captain.
This film is famous for having one of the most hated antagonists in movie history, Nurse Ratched, played exceptionally well by Louise Fletcher. For younger audiences, a good comparison to make to Nurse Ratched would be Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. Both are tyrannical figures who use their position of power, endowed by an institution, to exercise strict control over their subjects. Nurse Ratched is the embodiment of stifling order. Ostensibly, her intentions are to help her patients, but you get the sense that that is not her real goal. She uses her institutional power to wear them down and keep them subservient to her. She only serves the institution because it gives her power over others. Another way she holds power over others, particularly over her male patients, is the threat of female disapproval. Men are hardwired to seek the approval of women, and Nurse Ratched exploits this not only by expressing her own disappointment in the men when they do something that she doesn't like, usually in a frustratingly calm and civil manner, but she also alludes to the potential disappointment of the men's female family members on the outside of the institution, who would be disappointed in them if they found out about any misbehaving. This is done with Dale Harding and his wife, and also, most clearly, with Billy Bibbit and his mother. Yet from a neutral observer's point of view, Nurse Ratched should be a good person. As a dedicated nurse, she has a respectable job, and her passion for attending to the mentally ill should be something to commend. However, as we learn more about her, it's obvious that is not the case. She gives the outward appearance of good intentions and fairness to mask the wickedness inside. Unlike Dolores Umbridge, who is just hateable from the very get-go because J.K. Rowling doesn't know how to write subtlety.
Emotional damage!
Nurse Ratched is evil in the name of good, which makes her such a frustrating and hateable character. A perfect example is when the McMurphy character asked to watch the World Series on television, and Ratched gives the illusion of a democratic process by offering a vote among the patients, knowing all the while that the vote is rigged and that she would get her way no matter what. Does she really not allow the World Series to be played on TV because it's good for the patients, or because it's just what she wants? Speaking of McMurphy, Jack Nicholson is Randall P. McMurphy, the nonconformist foil to Nurse Ratched's oppressive order. While Ratched is the embodiment of tyrannical order, McMurphy does everything he can to break that order. He is a nonconformist who doesn't fit into society, much less an institution. Despite the fact he's not really a morally great guy, he does, after all, fully admit to statutory rape at the beginning of the film. It is impossible not to root for him because of how he represents freedom in the face of tyranny, which ends up becoming an inspiration for the other patients. In his own way, he ends up helping them more than the institution ever did. You get the sense that his situation is unjust. Sure, he may have been sent to jail for legitimate reasons. A 30-something-year-old man having sex with a minor is not a cool thing, no matter how much some internet weirdos try to tell you otherwise, but the reasons for him being sent to a mental institution just seem so targeted. It's like society put him there just because he wasn't proper enough for them. They knew that jail could only keep him so long until his time was up, but in a hospital, there is no timeline. They can keep him there forever if they want to, which they actually plan to do. The doctors fully admit that they don't quite know what's quote-unquote wrong with him, other than he doesn't like rules. But they still want to keep him there anyway until he's quote-unquote cured. Again, he's a nonconformist, and that is why he's being caged up in an asylum, not because he's actually mentally ill. Like McMurphy himself says, there are definitely a lot of crazier people than him walking free out there, so why him? Why is he here? Because he really needs help? Or because he's inconvenient? Of course, there are many other great actors giving top-notch performances. A few of the highlights include Doc Brown himself, Christopher Lloyd in his first screen role, Brad Dourif, who is best known as the voice of Chucky, playing a very different style of character here in Billy Bibbit. Will Sampson, as the Chief, is the soul of the movie, and of course there's Danny DeVito. Need I say more? So, if you want to see one of the greatest protagonist-antagonist dynamics in film, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a definite recommend. The performances are all great, and the story of freedom versus tyranny is truly gripping. It is a very human movie, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Good night.